Hey guys, what's up? So this is False Bulls 123, and so this video is a little bit more somber. Now, I know a lot of times my videos aren't the most peppiest, but basically, part of my moving story is letting go, you know? Having a lot of things in your life that you can't really take with you and having to essentially give them a metaphorical burial. One of the things that kind of has to change because I'm moving is that I have to get rid of my car. Now, originally I had a 6-month plan. It was all lined out, getting it fixed, going to the right, mechanic, which I had already sussed out, doing all of these other things to make sure that by the time that I left, I would have the car that I love, and I'd be out of this town. That's not what's happened though. Given my time frame, I'm not going to be able to keep her. I won't have the time and money to get her fixed either. And I'm not really sure she'll be able to get fixed by this point either. So basically I'm letting go, I'm saying goodbye, and I want to create this vlog as a way to tell people how much the car meant to me and to give it a proper send-off. Because, I'm sending her down to the boneyard, and that's the long and short of it. So I'm going to show you, my car and tell you a little bit about her before, finally get just saying a few words to her to let her know, what's happening. So the Pontiac Grand Am was once a popular model of car. I think it was around the 1980s about. And basically they wanted to combine the prowess of both the Firebird Trans Am and the Pontiac Grand Prix. And so basically they wanted to compete with Ford models who were combining both luxury and sports utility cars to create a more well-rounded, balanced experience. It eventually fell out of favor just because everyone was looking for either a sport or an economy style car, and it being mid-range, being a combination of the two, was just not conducive to the market. It brought back several times. I think there was actually 5 generations of it, and it was eventually discontinued in 2005. So my Pontiac was made in 1997 as part of the 4th generation. And so there is some changes to the outside of the body from the original 94, not the 94, the 92 release. But basically this was one of the last runs, which lasted from 1992 to 1998. Now, I know my car was built in 1997, which was the same year that I was born, and my grandmother bought it used. So I don't believe she bought it in 1997. I believe she bought it several years after that. But for as long as I can remember, it's always been in our family. Because it's the same age I am, so why wouldn't it be, right? So she drove it until she retired, a couple of years before she passed away. And, my mom drove it afterwards. And eventually, once I got of age, I drove it. This is the car that I, got my driver's license in. This is the car that, I went off to college in. This is the car that, drove me to my first job and my second job. And pretty much, this is the first car I ever had, And when my grandma passed away in 2016, she gifted me the car in her will. And now she didn't actually sign her will. And so, oh my goodness. So I drove it up to here, the tags expired. And so I have to get, the tags changed, the titles changed, all of that. Because she didn't sign her will, I had to, oh my goodness, get a inheritance affidavit, and I had to have that signed by all potential heirs to the car, which would have been my mother, my aunt, and my uncle. What else had to happen was that it had to be signed by a notary, which means that it had to be signed in front of a notary. So it had to be notarized, and notarized papers cannot be faxed, they have to be mailed. Because it's all about, chain of custody. And so I eventually get all of the information together. It takes me like 3-4 months to deal with. After, like, I literally had to go and, like, fight with the courts because they, like, wanted to fine me for having, like, missing tags or outdated tags. And so I finally get done. I pay my money, and it is finally in my possession. By the way, if you like Lily B, you out there, you watching, thank you so much for driving me down to the DMV that day, because honestly, like, that was a really big help in my life, and I appreciate it, because I was walking for about a year before I could get my car legally fixed, legally, like, titled. After that, like, I was very careful. I tried to get, like, as fixed as much as possible, which I wasn't able to do when I was, like, in college, because just, I didn't have, I didn't know, like, what the good mechanics were in the area, and I always, went to Glenn Messel's Automotive in Medford. By the way, guys, you're looking for a good automotive company and you don't mind waiting a little bit, Glenn Messel's is where it's at. He has done excellent work for my family. Excellent work for, like, my family for, like, 20 plus years, and I will always trust him with, like, my cars. And so, like, I get back from town in, like, I think late August, just starting my externship at the CAF. And so it works all fine and dandy. I'm keeping her, like, clean. She's having a little trouble with her transmission, maybe, like, and that was after I dealt with, like, the blowout the year before. And so what happened was that I lost my car keys. I came home one night. I parked really shittily. That's my biggest, like, thing that I regret, is that, like, how shittily I parked her, because she is sitting right next to the curb right now, and I literally have not been able to move her this entire year. And she's right underneath where all the downpour is, so I think that a lot of what happened to her was the water damage from, like, town. Which, I'm not really sure about that, because she used to, like, being rained all the time. This is Oregon, sweetie. Like, cars get rained on, but something about, like, changed. There's a lot more moisture in the here. There's a lot more salinity in the air, and it just wasn't not good for her motor. And basically, like, I finally find the keys about a month and a half later. I go to turn her over. She doesn't turn over, but the battery works, and now, honestly, she's dead. Like, she hasn't ran in over a year, and she's such an old car. She's 21 years old. Like, this is the first time that I have been older than her, and that's kind of something that's really hard to deal with. But basically, like, she has served me for the last 20 years of my life, and it's going to be really hard to let her go. So, I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss her quite a bit. But it's something that has to happen. And I just want to, thank my car for every time that I turned over in the morning, for every mile that it's carried me, because it has carried me and my family 157 miles, 157,838 miles in my life. And that is more miles than anything has ever carried me. It got me, like, to college, it got me to my jobs, and I tried my hardest to take care of it. I really did. I remember I was coming back. It was my first winter break, and a tire blew out. And I knew I had a slow leak on it, I know that it would not been the best quality. And it finally gave out, and I pull over, and the tire is shredded. And the helm itself, like the rim, it's shaped like a fucking square by this point, just because it had so many damn dents in it. And this wonderful couple, I don't remember the wife's name, but I remember the husband's name was Glenn, because, like, I have a cousin named Glenn. And they were so nice to me, because she was coming home from a dentist appointment with, like, her 1.5-year-old son, and she stopped and said, "Hey, do you need help?" And I'm just like, yeah, I fucking need help. And so they were so nice to me. They took me down to, like, the junkyard. They helped me get a rim and a new tire. Like, they drove me to, like, less swabs or something, helped me get it mounted. They helped me, change my tire, make sure that I was okay. And if it wasn't for, them, I would have been stuck in this town. Wouldn't have been able to see my family that year. And trust me, it wasn't, and my Christmas wasn't that great either. Nima had just died. My family was fighting. I was my fucking freshman 15 that month because all I ate was quesadillas. I literally would have a corn and cheese quesadilla every single day that month. We didn't celebrate Christmas because no one was really in the right mood for that. And sorry guys, that just got really tangential. But if it wasn't for that Glenn and his family, I would literally have been in a really bad place. And so I want to thank those people. Yeah, if you're watching, if you're listening, if you ever find this, you deserve, more in life. And I'm glad the generosity and kindness you showed me that day. And I'm just going to miss her, I'm going to miss being able to, get behind the wheel of this car every single day. Smell, it's everything. It's the feel of, the handle and the smell of the interior. And me checking her oil and water before, every single trip. And me just wearing gloves because it's so cold in the mountains. But being able to travel and go places. And I'm so sorry that she had to die in a place like this. That she had to be in a place where the salt and the air and everything about her just kills her. And I'm sorry to see that she degraded like this, but I'm so happy for every single moment that I got to spend with her. And it's going to be so hard. It's going to be so hard to let her go, to move on, to find it. But it is what it is, and I'm just glad that we had a good life together. That I got to spend some time and have this emotional attachment to an object. And I know it's going to be okay, but it's just really hard letting her go. Anyway, guys, I'm sure you don't want to see me sobbing all over my dashboard for the next 15 minutes. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This is going to be False Bulls 123 signing off. Make sure to stay subscribed. Make sure to like and comment. Just any packing tips, any words of encouragement. This is kind of a difficult time for me right now, and I would just love to hear from you guys. If you have any hints and tips on packing, on production quality, any shit like that, I just want to hear from you. And let's see. I'm trying to think about any of my upcoming stuff that's happening. RJ Eats is going to have probably one more, review, and maybe one more just blog post before I leave. RJ's Diner is going to have hopefully one more review. And then RJ's Diner is going to have one more recipe, which is going to be the bacon bourbon pecan pie, and hopefully you guys like that. I'm going to try to find the right IPA for that because I've used other ones in the past and they just, they don't work the same. Boolean blog, I'm going to try to keep up, but if I miss some of my updates, that's, just going to be what happens. I'm going to have a few more videos for you, just giving up my moving story, and I'm not really sure what's going to happen with the Content Network once I get back to Medford. There's definitely going to be some changes in my production, and my schedule, but, I'll work something out, and even if it's just, a couple story times of me, sitting out underneath the old walnut tree, then that's what's going to happen, Anyway, guys, hey, ask me any questions you want about Medford. Ask me anything like that, because I really want to hear from you. So, thanks for listening. Hi, this is the junkyard. Hello? Oh, good, lovely. I was wondering, this is the place you call if you want to, I guess, drop off your car or get it towed and that type of thing? Oh, lovely. So I have a 1997 Pontiac Grand Am, and I'm looking to, I guess, sell it to you guys, or however you go for the process. Okay. Okay, then can we go with the free haul then? Because I've done the estimations, and to actually get those delivered would be more than, you know, the amounts. I'd be losing money. Let's see, title for the car. I believe so, but I'm not sure where I put it. I can look for it, but yeah. Let's see. Let me check my schedule for tomorrow, cause anytime. Let's see, cause you would need to see me before you picked it up, then, for the title. I'm guessing. Give me one moment. I just have to find my schedule. Let's see. Would it be possible to get it picked up before noon tomorrow? Hello? Hi, we were just on the phone, but it seems like we got disconnected. No. Anytime before noon tomorrow. Let's see. Yeah, cause, or anytime today would probably work too, cause I'll be at home. No worries. I forgot where I put my title anyway. And will you be unable to take it without the title? Yes, it is. Okay, that works. Thank you so much. I should have it here somewhere. It's somewhere in my notes. Anyway, thank you so much.
You're welcome.